Hello guys, welcome to the channel Ads with Lovenik. And today we will be discussing the three myths that people still believe after the Andromeda update, and they're still following these things, and when they do not get any results, they are like, oh, my Meta is not working after the Andromeda update. So without wasting any time, let's just start. So the first thing that is here is creative is the new targeting. So now after Andromeda update, I have been just hearing this thing again and again from everyone that now creative is the new targeting. And in some of the account, what I have noticed is people have just stopped creating different campaigns anymore. I'm talking about businesses that are operating at a smaller budget. Obviously, the bigger brands have bigger budget and they have the always on bottom of the funnel campaigns, and they have the campaign funnel wise, right? But for the smaller brands, what I'm seeing is, so I have noticed this in a few accounts now. What they're doing is they're not creating any separate campaign as per the audience. What they are doing is just creating one campaign under one ad set. They are adding all their creatives that they created for the top of the funnel audience, for the middle of the funnel audience, and for the bottom of the funnel audience. And the reasoning behind that is, and their assumption is that if we because now after Andromeda, creative is the new targeting. So what they believe is that Meta will just see which one creative is best for the top of the funnel audiences, which one of the creative is best for the middle of the funnel audiences, and which one of the creative will be the best for the bottom of the funnel audiences. And this is where they go wrong, because if you also maybe following this same structure, you would have noticed that the frequency of your campaigns will not go above 2. It is usually revolves around between 1 and 2, because of the very large audience size, because you have just created a campaign usually broad, and then you have added all the assets in that. So obviously Meta will reach out to more and more people to maintain the efficiency in terms of your CPMs and other metrics, right? Even though if your campaign is optimized towards sales, Meta will not kind of increase your frequency or maybe stop spending of the top of the funnel creative, top of the funnel audiences to push on the remarketing audiences. Meta will not do all these things. This is where you have to jump in. All right, so that's why this thing is not reliable at all. You don't need to just create one single campaign with one ad set which is broad, and then add your top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, and middle of the funnel creatives under only one ad set, assuming that Meta will just show the best asset as per their as per the audience segment. Okay, so you need to have to jump in, and then you need to create these segregated campaigns basis on the funnel. If it is a top of the funnel campaign you're creating, create a top of funnel campaign with maybe interest based or broad audience or maybe lookalikes. If it is a middle of the funnel campaign, create it basis on the engagers. And if it is a bottom of the funnel campaign, create a separate campaign for website visitor or maybe people who have added a product in the cart in last 7 or in last 30 days. Because in that way you will have control over the budget, like how much you want to spend on which segment, which audience segment. And then you can also work on building up the frequency there. Let's say if you are just a new brand and you have you're advertising some women wear of say 2000 rupees or 3000 rupees, right? So now as a new brand you would need multiple touch points. Nobody will just see your ads one time or two time and then they will be like, okay, let's go and buy it. Okay, unless there are some other cases, let's say maybe you are giving some very good offer or there is something that gets triggered, but in majority of the cases it will not how this works, right? So you need to have those segregation in your campaigns, so that in the bottom of the funnel campaign, let's say if someone interacted with your 2000 or 3000 rupee product in your top of the funnel campaign, so you show them ad 4 or 5 times in your, or maybe 6 times in your bottom of the funnel campaign, so that the decision making becomes easier. There are multiple touch points, multiple interactions, so the user also feel familiar with your brand. It is not like a someone who they are seeing first time. Okay, so if any one of you still following these things and you're following just if you're even if you're working on a small budget and you are following this approach, in my opinion you should stop right away and create the campaigns as per the segregation of the audience, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and on bottom of the funnel. Trust me, you will get better result that way. Now, coming to our second myth, which is broad targeting works for every business. Now, this is not something which is people are talking about after Andromeda update, but it is going on from a long time now. And what I have observed and what my experience is running the campaigns for multiple industries on multiple platforms, and spending a lot of budget on these conversion campaigns or the performance campaigns, what I have seen is, yes, broad targeting is good. Advantage plus campaigns are good, but you need to know that this is not something that fits for all of the businesses. See, I have worked for some of the D2C businesses where the product is very niche. Like if I just give you an example, let's say if it is a original movie poster, okay, which is of a higher cost, it is not cheap, and it is original movie poster is also something that if you will interact, you will also end up buying it, right? Because let's say if we are talking about some general category products, let's say if it is a shirt, or if it is a t-shirt, or maybe if it is a diary or a pen, or maybe all these things that are very general and very basic, and which everyone kind of use in their day-to-day life. So in those sort of cases, I believe that the broad targeting works really well, because it doesn't have to define the user, right? It will just uh, look for the signal on the basis of who is going to make purchase on Meta, right? And then they will just start showing them ads. But in other scenarios, let's say when your product is very niche, as I just gave you an example of original movie poster, so it is not like some everyone gonna buy it if they see it, even if they have a purchasing behavior. If you show them a movie poster, original movie poster, they might not even care about it if it is original, and they won't be interested in giving a premium price for that. So then you in such cases, you need to build the audiences. So if this is, I'm telling you from a real example, basically. So I have this one of this client I'm working for. So they used to sell original movie posters. So what they were doing is they were just doing broad targeting, lookalikes, and all these things, and the results were very very poor, I would say. They were just spending 100,000 USD at a ROAS of 2 or 3x. And later on, when they just got onboarded and I started working on them, the first thing I did for them is I created the interest based audience for them. Now, many of you might think that this is very kind of old school, or maybe I didn't update myself with the current updates that are happening around. I know that that can be a little shocking to you, but see, what I did is I created some interest based audiences, and I put it interest, like people who are interested in auctions or antique items, things related to that. And I made a proper audience in order to kind of reach out those people who will be interested or in these kind of things, which is original movie poster. And trust me, in just 1 month, I was able to scale the account from 1,000 USD to 5,000 USD at a ROAS of 10. That's why I'm telling you from my experience, and this is not from one account. This has happened from multiple account basis on their industry and their product. So always remember, you need to take control of the account. Just don't fall for the updates that are coming in, or what people are saying about it. You need to have your on ideas on learnings from the account. If you see that the broad audience is not working for me, then do not start blaming on Meta that okay, broad audience is not working, or after the Andromeda update nothing is working, or my account is just not working at all, or the product is not working. Just try out a little of different things and see if this can give you results. Now we will move on to our last myth for today, which is Meta AI replaced media buyer. So I often hear these things from, even many of my friends, colleagues, that, after the AI, our job is at risk. But I will tell you very honestly that this is not going to happen. I won't say it will not happen in future. Maybe someday it will happen. But at the current stage, I wouldn't say that, Meta AI will replace the media buyer. And why I'm saying that is because, let's say you're working on insights for your project, what for the account you are handling on. So you kind of just give the data in a well structured way, where you just list down what how much you spend, how much impression you got, reach, and all these metrics, and then you put it in chat gpt, or maybe in any other ai tool, be it claude. So what you and then you just say, okay, give me the insights as per the data. Maybe it is a weekly data or it's a monthly data, right? Then you ask for the insights. So what the ai tells you, it tells you that, okay, it tells you on the basis of the data that you share. It doesn't know the things that are happening on the account, the real time changes that are happening. For example, if I just give you an example for some context, let's say I have created a weekly report and I've shared the data with ChatGPT and Claude to just and asking to share the insights, and my results are not good at all. So Meta will kind of just sorry, ChatGPT or Claude will just read the data and then give me the insight basis on that. Now, what if my audience size is getting reduced week on week? ChatGPT or Claude doesn't have that information. What if there are some other categories that were driving traffic to my category, but because of seasonality, those categories are not working, are not in the demand anymore. That's why my overall traffic is getting decreased, and hence the conversion rate. What if I did make some adjustment in my campaigns? In the last week, I just posted a few ads because their seater was not very good, or the frequency was very high, right? And in that case, also again, the ChatGPT and Claude doesn't know of those changes. And just let's say the ad that spent the majority of the amount in the last week, it doesn't communicate the message well, or it doesn't has a good CTA. Now Meta doesn't know that. This is something that because you are working on the account day to day. And that's why I say that, and it is not very feasible to kind of give all this information that is happening around the account, or around the your industry, or around your maybe surrounding, to just add give all this detail to ChatGPT or Claude, because that is also not possible, right? So you need to understand these things. AI or ChatGPT or Claude are there to help you, okay, at the current time. Maybe in future, I don't know, you don't know what will happen, but at the current stage, you don't need to worry about these things, that okay, now ChatGPT has started doing this, or Claude has started doing this. What I will do as a marketer? As a marketer, trust me, you are still very safe. There is no AI or ChatGPT or Claude that is going to take your job anytime soon. Okay, now future, I cannot comment on that what will happen, that we would know once we will pass those years. Okay, so but for now, there is no need to worry on these things, that ChatGPT can do it all, or Claude can do it all. You still these tools are just there to help you, so just utilize them to make your work easier. Don't think of them as your how would I say it, your competition maybe. Okay, so this is it for the video, guys. I hope I was able to add some values, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, take care and bye bye.